Today I'm going to be showing you a really cool card trick involving the side step and stack. So here's what it would look like. You could have the spectator go ahead and cut the cards as many times as they like, and does not matter. So let's pretend the deck's on the table here. The spectator is going ahead and cutting the cards as many times as they want, and this is how they're going to pick a card. So you tell them, alright, so you've cut up the deck, go ahead and cut the deck one more time. Let's say they wanted to cut to this random card, and here's how this is going to work. So at this point, neither you nor the spectator actually know the value of the card. So here's what's going to happen. So the deck is going to tell us everything that we need to know. So if we have the deck, we want to ask it what color it is. So we have C-O-L-O-R. So the deck says your card is going to be a red card, and the next thing we want to know is the value. So let's go ahead and say, let's look for the number of the card. So we have N-U-M-B-E-R, and just like that, hopefully we should get the value. So we have a red card, and it's going to be an 8. So over here we have a red 8, and look at that, we have a red 8. So this is a trick, guys, and if you want to do it, don't forget to Here's how you would start off the trick. So you could begin just shuffling up the deck. You can have the spectator shuffle up. It doesn't really matter. It's a completely random card, right? All you gotta do, you just have them pick any card. In this case, we have the King of Hearts. Now what you do is, the entire trick is kind of based off of soulmates. So essentially you can go off and tell the spectators, alright, so the soulmate of the King of Hearts would be the King of Diamonds, right? Now these are two special cards. You know, they're always looking to find one another because, you know, they are soulmate. So what you do is you go through the deck and you tell your spectators to go ahead and look for it really quick. In this case, the soulmate of the King of Hearts here, the King of Diamonds, you tell them, alright, so it's somewhere, you know, in the middle of the deck, and you know, you don't really know exactly where it is, but it's somewhere in there. And if they don't believe you, you can go ahead, you can mix up the deck a little bit and just kind of get everything mixed up, right? So what you're trying to do is separate these two cards as much as you can from each other until they eventually have to find each other again, right? So that's the whole story. You take their card, you take the soulmate, and then what you do is you can tell your spectators, alright, so go ahead and shuffle up this deck a little more. Alright, so you shuffle it up once more, and you say, alright, so go ahead and say stop whenever you want. Or you could have them shuffle it up and then cut the deck wherever they want to. So let's say they were to say, alright, so stop here, right? So anywhere in the deck they happen to stop, you sell as a completely fair break. You take their card, you put it directly in the middle, wherever they said stop. You snap your fingers, and just like that, guys, the soulmates, even though you've been shuffling up the deck, as you guys can see right below their card, should be the soulmate, the King of. I'll be showing this really cool transportation type card trick, and to start off, you could have the spectator pick any card by telling you when to stop. So let's say they said stop here. It could be at any spot, and let's say they said stop at the Jack of Hearts, so you guys can see that. What we want to do is put the Jack of Hearts on the table, and then what you want to do is put two more cards directly on top of it, just so you know I cannot touch that very bottommost card, the Jack of Hearts. So from here, let's say we mix up the deck a little bit, so we mix up the deck, give it a little bit of a shuffle. We can do the same exact thing. This way you guys know the deck is mixed up, and then at this point I'm going to show you that you can also pick another card. So go ahead and let's say if you were here, you could cut the deck anywhere you liked, and if you cut it here, we'd go ahead, we'd mark your cut, and then we'd look at the exact position that you happen to cut the cards at. So from here, it looks like you've cut the card at the 8 of clubs. Now this isn't really significant, so what I'm going to do is, let's say I give you the 8 of clubs, you put this into your hand, I would snap and reveal to you that this is actually your card, the Jack of Hearts. But if your card, the Jack of Hearts, is over here, then these 3 cards on the side must be the other 3 jacks. Alright guys, so today I'm going to be showing you a trick that is a little bit different, involving a phone here. So a lot of people I've seen in the comments want me to do some tricks kind of separate from cards, but today I'm going to show you the exact same trick. All I did was just kind of add in a deck of cards just to make the trick a little bit better. So the thing is, you can use the basic concept of the trick without a deck of cards, and this is what it is going to look like. So basically, let's say we have a calculator here, and you can give it to somebody, and they can plug in a few random numbers, and let's say they would just go ahead and they would multiply them together. These are completely random numbers, and as soon as we multiply them, it should be a huge number here. I'm going to show you guys. We have, it looks like 485,169,776. So what I'm going to do here is, over here in this packet of cards, let's say mix it up real quick, and then what's going to happen is the spectator is going to say stop whenever they like So let's say they said stop here, completely random choice, and on this card, any card they could have chosen, they happen to pick the card with the exact same. But today I'm going to be showing you another one of my favorite Terry Lorraine type card tricks, and essentially what you do is he obviously performs this trick a lot better than I do. His patter is, really interesting and entertaining. I'm kind of dry, but this effect is really cool. And the way he performs it is he basically, describes a story of him at a party, and basically, somebody else comes to the party that hasn't seen all these tricks, but I guess he's been performing for, a few hours now and he's bored. So he just does this little card trick just to know, okay, I want to talk to this person over here, but, this guy wants to see a card trick, so let me go ahead. I'm just going to show him a quick card trick, try to keep up the conversation with somebody else. And basically, it's really cool because it's almost like you're not trying. It's like it's a super lazy card trick in essence. So basically what he does is he has somebody, just go through the deck. He can have them, you can just fan the cards out if you want. You can have them pick a card from here. And then what they do is, they pick the card, they look at it themselves. In this case, this is going to be your guys' card for the trick. And he tells the guy, okay, you know what, just go put that on top of, you can just put that on top of the deck, right? Because he's tired, so he's not, too involved with the trick. And he says, all right, why don't you just cut the deck real quick? So the guy cuts the deck. He says, all right, why don't you just, complete the cut, put it back on top. And okay, so, and at that point, he's acting like he's having a conversation with somebody else over here. And he says, why don't you just, just keep doing that a couple times, just keep cutting the deck, right? So he's trying to keep this other guy busy. And the other guy just keeps cutting up the cards, just a few times. And then he cuts it up a bunch. And then, Harry tells the guy, he's like, all right, why don't you just flip it over? So he says, all right, flip it over. He goes, okay, why don't you go and cut the cards again? So the guy cuts the cards. He says, all right, complete it. So eventually he goes, okay, why don't you cut the deck while it's face up for a little bit? So, the guy's cutting the cards face up while Harry's talking to the guy. And then eventually he says, you know what, let's go ahead, we'll take the cards, and I'll tell you what. So it's very simple at this point. He just kind of, tells the guy, he says, okay, so why don't we just, we can get this trick done and over with. Why don't you, he does a little bit of misdirection here, but he tells me, why don't you just, why don't you go ahead, I believe the card should be, he's like, why don't you take 9 cards off of the deck? Just take 9, should be 9 cards off the deck. So the guy goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He goes, you know what? I think the next card is going to be, it should be the next card should be yours. So he flips over the card, and then lo and behold, guys, this is going to be your card trick to show you. Basically all you need is a deck of cards and you'll be ready to go. So you can go ahead and you can start shuffling up the deck a little bit like this, and basically what you're going to do is the pattern can change. You can pretty much say whatever you want, but essentially what you're going to try and do is tell your spectators that whether or not they believe you, they kind of have this subconscious ability to know the position of any card in the deck. So in this case, let's say for example like the 8 of spades, alright, a super random card. You tell your spectator, you could pick a number 1 through 52, and we can go through and probably find your card, but to make this a little bit easier, we'll do 10 through 20, okay? So just pick a number 10 through 20, and then we'll see if you can locate the 8 of spades. So all your spectator says, let's say a number like, let's say like 18, right? So you deal down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Alright, so out of 10 and 20, your spectator happened to pick 18. And to let's mix up a little bit more, we can go ahead and add the digits of 18. So 1 and 8, we'll get 9. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then in this position should be the 8 of spades. And this is the trick, guys. It'll work every single time. And don't forget to stick around for the tutorial. I'm going to be showing you this really simple card trick, and at the end I'm going to be showing you 2 different ways to do this, and the second way is going to be a lot simpler. So to start it off, this is what the trick would look like. Let's say you would go through and you'd pick a card, in this case here. Now the whole point of this trick is that I have not seen your card and neither have you. So what I'm going to do is, let's say I go through the deck here and I try and see which card is missing from the deck. So let's say I'm going to go through here and I'm going to try and see, because I kind of memorized the order of the deck a little bit before I started the trick. So let's see if I can go through here and see the card that you picked. In this case, you picked, looks like the only card missing is the Ace of Spades. So if I flip it over, you guys can see it's the Ace of Spades. I'm going to be showing you a really cool card trick that you could do, and you can have the spectator pick any card they want to. So let's say we start off the trick and the spectator could pick this card here from the middle. It's a completely random choice. In this case, let's say we have the Jack of Diamonds here. You tell them you're going to leave their card in the middle of the deck, just like that. You're going to leave it on the table. You're going to snap your fingers, and just like that, hopefully, as you guys can see, also I have no breaks. Let's see if I can get that card to flip over. So if we go spread through the deck, you guys can see that one card has actually revealed itself to us. And now if you're doing this to spectators, obviously you could say, you know what, look, your card is flipped over, and then they would tell you that this isn't their card. So say, you know what, if this isn't your card necessarily, this might be an indicator card. This is basically going to tell us where your card is in the deck. So this in this case happens to be a 5. So you say, you know what, it might be 5 cards down. So you take 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th card here is going to be the spectator's card. And not only is their card going to be 5 cards down, but the 4 cards in between also happen to be the 4, 8. So I would show you guys over here that in this red deck I've actually drawn a whole bunch. It's kind of like a little flip ramp, so you can go through and you can see exactly what's going on. So a little guy is going to go through his hat and he's going to pick a random card, right? So we don't know what that card is yet, so what I'd have you do is go ahead and think of any card you wanted to, kind of like an invisible deck trick. So let's say you were thinking of the card, but since you're not here, I'm going to go ahead and simulate that just by picking out a random card from this deck over here. And let's say you were thinking of a card and you happen to think of the Queen of Clubs, right? So literally out of any single card in the deck, you happen to be thinking of this card right here, which is the Queen of Clubs. So this is what's going to happen. So let's say we take your Queen, alright, your Queen of Clubs, and like I said before, you could have picked any card in the deck, and we've already shown you that our friend here has already gone through his hat. And look, I'll show you guys really quick. As I go through and riffle through the deck, you can see every one of his little motions. He's going to go ahead and pick that Queen of Clubs.